The second thing that we're going to do is get really specific, right? So like we touched on the emotional stuff, the dreamy stuff. Let's get pragmatic here and talk about the numbers. Now, if you missed our business planning series a couple weeks back, definitely check that out. We have part 1 and part 2. There is a lot of information and a lot of details on like how to actually gather your metrics and how to interpret what that means, okay? But part of having a really great year is getting super specific on not only the revenue and production goals, but the daily metrics that you need to hit day in and day out. One of the easiest ways to do this is just pull your metrics, right? So look at how many leads you've generated and ask yourself a couple of questions. How many of those leads were converted to clients? How many of those clients closed? And what were the success or conversion rates across all of those different lead sources? Now, you might look back at this last year and think, you know, I'd had a pretty good year, but a lot of my business was coming from my team or this really expensive lead referral source that took a lot of my commission. They were really hard to convert leads, and I just didn't really enjoy working with them all that much, even though it gave me a lot of business. But what did work really well for me was working with my referrals. I mean, wow, my database referrals really showed up this year. Yeah, I didn't have as many as I hoped to have, but maybe I can do that again and double down, right? So like it's having all these questions of like, what can we taper off and stop doing as so much of and start doubling down on the things that do really work for our business to get us to that next level of production without having to actually double the amount of hours worked or the amount of leads spent, if that makes sense. I think this kind of goes along the lines of figuring out what the best year ever really needs to look like for you. Okay, so does that just straight up mean production? Or does that mean maintaining that same level of production but working half of the hours, right? So one of my big goals for 2022, like in order for me to have an awesome year in 2022, I want to have Fridays off. Like, is that so much to ask for? Apparently it is in real estate, but it is one of my goals to at least have Friday afternoons off so that I can spend it with my young family. I want to spend it with my kid, and I would like to also continue to grow my family in 2022. I mean, if that's part of the cards for me, I want to make sure that I have the systems in place to help make that an enjoyable experience for me without worrying that my business is going to implode along the way, right? So there's a lot of these other questions that we have to really be answering for ourselves and putting a plan in place that can contribute to our overall happiness in 2022 that does not necessarily mean numbers and production. So the interesting thing about this is to get to those answers, you do need the numbers and production for monitoring your metrics, but ask yourselves those questions along the lines of what you want that to actually translate into your overall success and the goals that you want to accomplish personally and professionally next year. I like how I'm just telling you guys all my secrets on my personal dreams and goals for the next year. But c'est la vie. Okay, so how are you going to make that happen, right? Once you have your why and your mission statement dialed in and you know what you want to accomplish and the numbers that are going to kind of take you there, you have to have accountability, right? Because a lot of times internal accountability is not enough. We know that we need that external accountability as well. So there's a lot of ways that you can build this into your business. The first is leveraging technology. Okay, so it's super easy to set a time on your schedule for 90 days from now, like every quarter, to check in with the business plan and see how things are progressing and if you are on track to where you want to be. That is a great method of accountability because it allows you to take a minute, step out of working in the business and work on the business. But we can also tap into support from friends and family and other colleagues for external accountability as well. So this can be as simple as checking in with your spouse once a month or significant other or partner or whatever periodically throughout the year to just help check in, make sure that you are in alignment with your values, your why, your mission, and that the numbers are reflecting that too. You can also enlist help from a colleague, so find an accountability partner in the industry who's doing something similar, right? Who's at a similar place in their business, they have a similar vision for what they want the year to look like for them. I mean, you guys should be doing that and then scheduling a once a month little coffee date just to check in and see how things are going. And then there is always the obvious too, like you might want to join a team or hire a coach or find a mentor that can help keep you accountable as well. There's really nothing like a good kick in the pants from a colleague or a coach or a mentor who, helps you get back on track if things are slipping. So I think that is worth its weight in gold in terms of having your best year ever. Thank you so much for watching this quick win series here on our YouTube channel. Of course, any resources or additional videos mentioned during this quick win are linked below in the caption, so check that out. And if you have not yet, be sure to hit subscribe to this channel and hit that bell notification icon to be notified every time we're dropping other quick wins just like this.